how to be a better communicator. If you struggle with your communication skills, you get anxious, nervous, what you want to say is definitely not what comes out of your mouth, or maybe you don't say anything at all because you get so in your head that you're not able to articulate any words. If that sounds like you, then this video is for you. I'm going to share with you a few of the tips and tricks that I personally use that have helped me become a better communicator. And I'm going to start off by saying, first and foremost, if you know that you do not have the best communication skills or you want to improve upon your communication skills, the first mindset that I absolutely need you to cultivate is a mindset that it is okay for you to not have great communication skills right now. You are human. Nobody taught you how to be an effective communicator. And the only way that you are going to get better and learn how to communicate more effectively is by practicing, because practice makes perfect. So I want you to see yourself like a baby who is crawling and learning how to walk. One of the most harmful mindsets that will stop you from improving your communication skills is being critical and harsh to yourself. Because if you are harsh and critical of yourself and you think, wow, my communication skills are terrible. Why am I not an effective communicator? Why can't I just say the things I want to say? Why do I stutter? Why do I freeze up? All that's going to do is make you more anxious and nervous, which is going to then in turn make you an even less effective communicator. So, the first mindset that I am encouraging you to cultivate is a mindset of compassion and empathy and understanding that you have to start off by struggling to communicate. And when you speak, maybe your voice shakes and you stutter and you pause and you say things that is not what you actually want to say. That's okay. Ooh, girl, sir, whoever's watching this, that is okay. We all start somewhere. And the more that you can practice kindness and compassion with yourself, you are going to have less anxiety, which is then going to actually help you be a better communicator. So first and foremost, please understand that as you start practicing your communication skills, you're not going to be great in the beginning, and that's more than okay. That's amazing. It means that you're trying and that you're learning and that you have the courage and the bravery to not be great in the beginning and to get better. That takes guts that very few people have. So please, first and foremost, commend yourself on that. Number two, like I previously mentioned, practice makes perfect. This makes perfect. What does that mean? I need you to start talking to anybody and everybody, the cashier, the stranger on the sidewalk, everywhere, anywhere that you go, people at work that you normally don't talk to. I need you to start practicing your communication skills with anybody and everybody. This is what I did. I talked to anybody who will give me the time of day because it is helping me practice my communication skills and talking to people who I'm not comfortable with, who I don't know what we can yet talk about, if we even have anything in common. Practice makes perfect. So practice communicating with strangers, with people that you don't know, with people that you're not comfortable with people who make you nervous or anxious. Maybe that's your parents or your boss, whoever it may be, whoever you struggle to communicate with. Start practicing your communication skills with them. Now, If you feel like talking to somebody like a stranger will send you into a full blown panic attack, I do not recommend that. Okay, we want to start with baby steps. So start by talking to people who cause you a little bit of anxiety, but not so much where you go into a full blown panic attack because we want to practice you working through your anxiety. If you're comfortable talking to one or two people and you know you can talk to them about anything and you have no problems communicating with those are not the people that you should practice with because you're already comfortable. You have to practice your communication skills with people that make you a little bit uncomfortable, the areas where you struggle to communicate. So, again, if this is your boss or your manager, start actively reaching out to your boss or manager more than you normally would if you have questions, if you just want to pick their brain or have discussions with them that you normally would avoid. Have those discussions. I know I didn't give you any tangible tips yet, but trust me, the more that you practice communicating with somebody that makes you anxious and working through that anxiety, that's actually one of the best things that you can do because you are working through those emotions and actually going towards your fear, which will show you that there's nothing to fear instead of going away from your fear. And why I'm emphasizing on fear is because honestly, the reason why so many people struggle to communicate is purely because they're scared, purely because they're scared of what this person may think of if they communicate, what if what they say doesn't come across the way they want it to, what if they sound dumb. Fear is what stops so many people from being an effective communicator. So many people. So if that's the case for you, where you feel like the reason why you struggle to communicate with people because you are scared of saying the wrong thing or looking stupid or looking unintelligent, whatever it may be, doesn't matter the reason. I need you to practice communicating with those people and in those areas that you struggle to communicate in. Okay. Number three, I think, is allowing yourself to pause and give moments of silence. Give room, make room for silence so that you can actually think about what you want to say before you say it. And so this is along the lines of the fear and anxiety that a lot of people have when they communicate is because they get anxious, they feel the need to respond right away, especially if they're asked a question. They get nervous and they want to quell that anxiety and that nervousness by immediately giving an answer. And a lot of times that will just come off as rambling and they will use filler words just so that they can fill space, that awkward space of silence and quell their anxiety. So, what I encourage you to do is and I'm actually practicing this right now as I'm doing this video because I'm feeling a little bit nervous and I can catch myself in moments of when I'm rambling and I'm like, okay, Vivian, pause, wait, allow moments of silence, and think about what you want to say before you say it. So just know that I'm giving you these tips and tricks and mindsets. These are things that I'm also actively working on. Okay, we are in this together. I lost my train of thought. Where was I? Okay, allow for moments of silence so that you can reflect on what you want to actually say before you say it. So if somebody asks you a question or you're in a conversation and you don't know what to say next, I want you to sit with that awkward silence and you're just going to breathe through it and feel the awkwardness and the anxiety that comes with allowing for moments of silence. And when you feel that anxiety and nervousness, I want you to tell yourself in your head or out loud, if that's your thing, is this is good because this means I'm actually working through my communication struggles and allowing myself to grow because I'm feeling uncomfortable by allowing silence. So you're going to allow silence, and it's going to feel uncomfortable, and you're going to feel nervous and anxious, and you're going to tell yourself this is a good thing because it means you're growing and evolving. And as you allow for that room of silence, I again want you to give yourself time to think about what you actually want to say before you say it. And you can even tell the person you're talking to, give me 1 second. Just say, give me 1 second. Let me think about that if they ask you a question. Or you can just say, hold on, give me 1 second. Either works. So they know that you need a moment to think before you're going to say something. I do this all the time because I like to be very thoughtful and intentional with the words that I say and use, because words are so powerful, so powerful. So if you tend to ramble, and again, experience those feelings of anxiety in conversation that cause you to struggle with your communication, allow for silence. Think about what you want to say before you say it, and then allow yourself to speak once you have that clarity of thought. Next tip is force yourself, encourage yourself to speak slowly. Because when you're speaking quickly and you're just trying to get the words out and trying to explain yourself, a lot of times you'll just say things that don't make sense and, again, is not actually what you're trying to say, right? So when you allow yourself to slow down, and if it feels uncomfortable and awkward and unnatural, that's great. You're on the right track. You're growing, you're evolving, you're learning. If you're changing and evolving and learning and growing, it should feel different and uncomfortable and unnatural. So don't take that as a sign that you're doing anything wrong. You're actually doing exactly what you need to be doing. Slow down when you talk. Even if you think that you talking slowly makes you look dumb or awkward, that is okay. Honestly, the other person's probably thinking about if their communication is coming off awkward or unintelligent. So focus on you and allow yourself to speak slowly, because when you speak slowly, you are also giving yourself time to choose the right words that you want to say that's actually going to get your point across. I use this all of the time, especially in heated moments or when I'm having a disagreement with somebody. I am extra cautious and intentional about speaking slowly because I want to make sure that I'm actually saying what I mean to say and that I'm not saying anything that I'm going to regret later. Last but not least, to help you be a better communicator, is before you speak, I want you to think about the person that you are talking to. And I want you to think about what their experience has been, what their mindset is, so that when you communicate, you're able to relate what you're talking about in a way that they can understand. This is called emotional intelligence. So if you are trying to explain a story, how you're feeling, you want to be able to relate it and explain it in a way that they are going to understand. So think about, before you answer, think about the person that you are talking to. And again, what is their mindset from whatever you know about this person? What has their experience been? What has their history been? And how can you communicate in a way that is going to relate to their mindset and their experiences? Because we want to communicate to connect with people and to get them to, at the very least, understand our point of view. And the only way you're going to do that is by talking to them in a way where they are going to understand, in a way that they can relate to with their past experiences. So you wouldn't talk to a child with words that you know they've never learned yet because it's too advanced for where they're at. So you're mindful of when you're talking to a child, what they understand and know about the world and what the vastness or lack thereof of their vocabulary. And so the care that you would take to communicate with a child, I want you to do the same with other adults, because a lot of times we assume other people have the same knowledge that we do, and rarely is that the case. So if you want to be a better communicator and a more effective communicator, the person that you are talking to, I want you to first ask yourself, who is the person I'm talking to? What has their experience been? What knowledge do they have? And if you don't know, ask them what, if you don't know that this is something that they would understand, you can ask them questions to get clarity of what their thoughts and opinions are on whatever topic it is that you're talking about before you then explain and communicate your point of view. So never assume that somebody has the knowledge that you have. And if you don't know what their mindset is or beliefs are or what their history is, ask them before you start talking and communicating. This will help you be a better communicator, because then when you communicate, again, you're able to communicate in a way where this person is actually able to understand you, because you're not talking about things that they've never heard of, using words that they don't understand, or speaking in a way with such strong beliefs that are so utterly against theirs, where if you come at somebody so strongly with an opposite belief that's opposite to what they have, they're immediately going to have their walls go up. They're going to be defensive. They're not going to be able to hear you. So no matter what you communicate, they're not going to be able to hear you. And so that defeats the purpose of communication in general. You might as well stay silent at that point. So you want to make sure that you have as much clarity as you can of who the person is that you're talking to, what their mindset is, what their beliefs are, what their history is, what their knowledge is, before you come in and communicate. Now, I have been talking very generally with my communication tips today. I hope that whatever you took and found helpful from this video, you are actually able to implement into your daily life. Again, practice makes perfect. So the more that you practice communicating with people that make you nervous and anxious and that you struggle to communicate with, the more you practice allowing for moments of silence, so then you can actually have a thoughtful response before you communicate, the more that you can allow yourself to speak slowly and intentionally, and allow yourself to think about the correct word that is going to convey exactly how you want to feel before you say it. That's what I'm doing right now. If you can tell, I'm speaking slowly because I want to make sure that I'm using the words that are going to convey the meaning that I want to convey as effectively as I can. And last but not least, get into the other person's head before you communicate with them. And if you can't do that, ask them questions to clarify what their thoughts and beliefs are and what their experience has been, so that when you talk to them and you communicate with them, you can do so in a way that is relatable to them, because then you're going to be able to get your point across that much more effectively. So I hope that you found these general tips helpful. If you want any more details or examples, let me know in the comments below. I can definitely make a video on that for you. And otherwise, you already know. I will see you in my next video. Okay? Bye, guys.